So let me tell you a little bit about L Catterton and why I chose to join the firm and what makes the firm special. L Catterton, as you may know, we manage $15 billion. The entire firm is focused on investing in consumer retail as a sector of focus, and we do that out of 6 global funds. I've personally been at the firm for 10 years, and I joined the firm for two important reasons. Number one was a successful investment track record. So the firm had put up tremendous returns in terms of investing in those sectors. And the second was the culture of the firm. The culture of the firm is really what resonated the most with me. Our cultural values really focus on collaboration, a commitment to excellence. And it's one of the things, particularly being a senior woman in finance, that really resonated with me, where I wanted to join a team of professionals who are not only focused on putting up great returns and really focusing on top quartile investment performance, but really also just making sure that we're involved with sectors and businesses where we can roll up our sleeves and work with management teams and entrepreneurs to really drive returns. We ended up a few years ago partnering up with L Capital, which is the private equity arm of LVMH, and we brought the family of funds for Europe, Asia, and a global real estate fund under the Catterton umbrella of funds, and we're now L Catterton. And with that, we truly have now become the world's largest growth equity investor for consumer retail. The LVMH relationship is quite special in that, as you guys may know, we had the LVMH has 80 different maisons and operating companies. So really, when it comes to certain sectors, whether it be beauty or leather goods or handbags, it's one where it's a very collaborative relationship. They pick up the phone, are very creatively thinking through and helping out, particularly from an operating perspective, our portfolio companies when we partner up with founders and management teams. For me, consumer retail, it's such a big aspect of not only the US economy, but the world economy. And personally, having grown up in a lot of different countries, it just made sense to my economic brain of connecting the dots of what consumers really want to spend their money on, and really having a passion, particularly as a woman. It's something that really resonated with me on things like food, beverage, retail, restaurants, personal care. A lot more exciting than thinking about routers and servers and wireless companies. You want to make sure, starting at the category level, you're focused on the right categories. You want to make sure you're in a category that's large, that's growing, and then it comes down to your value proposition, right? So what does your brand deliver that really no one else, what is the reason to exist for you as a company and a brand? And then it's about how do you get to the customer, right? Should it be through the retail channel, in a physical setting, or a digital channel? And that really depends whether you're delivering a product experience versus a service experience. So it's something to be really thoughtful about with the lens of who's your target customer. And for example, with millennials today, there may be a very different way of finding for millennials for exploring brands, discovering brands, and figuring out a way to actually then have them experience the brand or the experience versus an aging baby boomer. And so we have a business, for example, in the beauty world, millennials constantly are exploring and finding brands through beauty influencers on Instagram. And that really, with the mobile phone today, it's democratized entrepreneurs' ability to actually go launch brands, right? So today I can go launch a brand by leveraging the power of the internet and social media. As long as I have a compelling value proposition and something that I know I can get to a target customer that'll resonate with for example, the millennial population. So that's really being thoughtful around stepping back, being thoughtful around who's your core customer, what category are you in, what makes you distinctive, and what are the ways in terms of selling your product or experience that's going to be the most beneficial and the most capital efficient to drive sales and to drive returns. We have over 110 companies ranging from 10 million in sales all the way to $1 billion across all categories. So we've backed brands in food, beverage, retail, restaurants, beauty, personal care. One that I've been particularly involved in and helped lead the investment is actually a laser hair removal business in beauty in Brazil. And it's become, when we invested in the brand about 22 months ago, they had about 150 stores, and at this point they're going to close the year at over 450 stores. It's a category that we were particularly passionate about. We own the largest laser hair removal business in the United States called Ideal Image. And having done the work on the category, had the conviction that the industry had really good size and growth dynamics. And having studied the consumer behavior, it was one that we could very quickly work with in partnership with the management team to help drive growth. The company specifically had company-owned stores and franchise stores, so in partnership with us, we've been really helpful and thoughtful in helping them figure out their organic growth strategy as well as buying back their franchise stores. In parallel, we've helped professionalize the management team and really work with the business in helping them improve the in-store customer experience while also leveraging the mobile app to make sure that they can increase their scheduling in-store. So that's one being particularly exciting. It's in our portfolio and continues to grow at a very fast pace. We're ahead of our underwriting expectations. It's always good to be able to partner with exciting management teams in high growth categories with the right margin dynamics. Frankly, as our firm now has this global footprint, it's really forcing us to step back and think about how can we for example, take a Brazilian brand and help them expand to Europe and Asia. Because in all our consumer research, what we're finding out, and what we're effectively finding, which is not a surprise, is people care about health, fitness, and well-being, whether you are a consumer sitting in Hong Kong or you're sitting in Sao Paulo in Brazil or in New York City. So we have an investment, for example, in Equinox and ClassPass, where those are global businesses, where again, at the end of the day, when people think about fitness, that's something that's actually happening around the world. And health, fitness, and well-being, it just happens to be one of the number of trends that we're now tracking. We just have to be careful around it's not a copy and paste exercise. And so this is where we come in around how do we help shape that concept and really customize it to that local experience, local geography, whether it's tweaking the brand or the messaging or the product and the service offering to ensure that the local tastes are taken into account. Social media is influencing and impacting most of our businesses. As I mentioned, in certain sectors, whether it be beauty and personal care, there's a bigger skew, as you can appreciate. Restaurants probably less so, but still, it's definitely social media strategy and digital strategy is a component for all our companies. It touches pretty much our entire portfolio. But we're constantly exploring and discovering new brands, right? Whether it's in-store shopping experience or whether you're browsing brands on Instagram, right? So you're always on the lookout. You're finding the right sets of products and brands that resonate with their personal values. And so this is something that we're also quite thoughtful about where, for example, Tom's shoes. It's something, if you buy a pair of shoes, it's helping buy a pair of shoes for someone in need. And that's something that personally resonates with them. And this is something we're for millennials seeing across categories. So transparency in what your products have inside them. So for beauty products, a desire to have clean, natural ingredients within them. So transparency of where you're sourcing, supplier, all of that. That's something that they actually are willing to pay a premium for, and that's something that people assume that they don't have the money, nor do they care, but they actually do have the money and they do care. 2019, I would say, listen, with the millennials, 80 million strong population, everything that they're doing as it relates to experiences over things is a very interesting disruption that we are being very mindful and thoughtful about. And so we have a company in our portfolio called Getaway where it's cabins in the woods. And so folks really being thoughtful around whether it's spirituality or meditation or in this always plugged world, finding the time to really step back and take time to disconnect is a very important trend that we're seeing, particularly in the millennial set, but across the population.